Hello, I'm Joe Ty from Values Coach. 25 years ago, I wrote a little book called Never Fear, Never Quit, a story of courage and perseverance. And in the years since, I have put a lot of thought into those two qualities, courage and perseverance. When we created our course on the 12 core action values, those were two of those values. Having the courage to do the right thing, even when you're afraid. Having the perseverance to keep at your goals, even when the obstacles seem to be overwhelming. And you know, in my life's experience anyway, it's never been more important to have courage and perseverance than it is today in these unprecedentedly challenging times that we're facing. In the organizations we work with, leaders are telling me that people are exhausted, they're frustrated. There's an incredible level of uncertainty and anxiety about the future. We're also hearing some really incredibly positive things about teamwork and fellowship and creativity and how people are working together. And our challenge is going to be how do we help people recover from the exhaustion? How do we help them overcome the fear, the anxiety about the future? How do we sustain those positive things and not let them fade away as the challenges continue as they will? That's why I'm having this conversation. Everyday courage for extraordinary times. In the coming weeks, I'm going to be talking to you about courage, about perseverance. And it's just going to be a conversation. No pretty slides, no fancy computer graphics and animations, no heartwarming music. Just going to be you and me having a conversation about your life. And here are some of the things that we're going to cover. We're going to talk about managing anxiety and fear and worry, and why those are three different emotions, and why it's so important for you to recognize which one you're feeling. And what happens when those things degenerate into dread and despair, and how do you pull the plug on that before it darkens your life? We're going to talk about negative self-talk. How do you reprogram that inner voice that's holding you back and preventing you from being your best self? We're going to talk about self-limiting beliefs, the things that cause low self-esteem, a poor self-image, that cause you to pretend to be less than who you really are. And we're going to talk about how do you set aside the emotional baggage, the anchor that has been holding you back from being your best self and achieving your most important goals. And we're going to talk about those goals. How do you expand your vision? How do you create bigger goals for yourself? And maybe more important, how do you convince yourself that you are capable of achieving those goals and that you deserve to enjoy the fruits of your success? And as you expand your vision, we're going to talk about how do you focus your time, your energy, your resources in a world that is constantly trying to steal your attention away from you. And perhaps most important, we're going to talk about hope. You know, the most precious jewel in the world is the hope diamond, is your hope diamond. One of the things that we see consistently in teaching values, I think of it as the paradox of values, and that is this: it's easy to live your values when things are going easy. It's easy to have integrity when there's no temptation. It's easy to have courage when there's nothing to be afraid of. It's easy to persevere when the obstacles are tiny. It's easy to be of service to others when you have everything you need yourself. It is when there is temptation, when there is fear, when the obstacles are significant, when you feel like you don't have enough yourself, that it is hardest to live those values. That is also when it is most important. And that's what I hope this conversation will do for you. Will help you to refill that pitcher, help you overcome those inner barriers that prevent you from being your best self and achieving the goals that mean the most to you. When we teach the course on the 12 core action values, one of those values is vision. And I always like to say, encourage people, define your future by your hopes, not by your fears, by your dreams, not by your memories. And that's my goal in this conversation, is to help you overcome the fears that are holding you back and replace them with the hope for a better future, with dreams instead of memories of the past, to help you be your best self, to help you achieve your most important goals, to help you overcome the obstacles. Winston Churchill famously said, "It's a shame to waste a crisis." There is no arguing that we are in a crisis in our world today. I hope that through this conversation, we will help you find ways to emerge from this crisis a better person, with bigger goals, with more self-confidence, and a person who does a better job of living your values of being your best self. This being a conversation, I invite you to send me an email, joe@valuescoach.com, or send me something on LinkedIn, respond to one of my newsletters. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what questions you have. Tell me what you would like me to cover in the next edition of this conversation that we're having on everyday courage for extraordinary times. And I'll see you next time.